Behold the small unassuming continent of Farland, nestled neatly in the world of Nurian. Home to many fae and mythical races, Farland was once a whimsical place full of joyful and proud peoples who cohabited the island continent in symbiotic harmony. That was before the arrival of the Lords of Sin and the Shadows of Evil. The Lords of Sin brutally conquered and enslaved the free peoples of Farland and wrought mayhem upon its inhabitants for the glorification of their dark god Vornoth. The continent was split into 7 kingdoms, each ruled by an evil lord who personifies one of the 7 deadly sins. The tyrannical and oppressive rule of the Lords of Sin have transformed the landscape into a corrupt and desolate place, in which armies of goblinoids aided by the dark magic of the Drow elves and Duergar dwarves. Throughout the land there are even whispered rumors of barbarous war machines created by the deep gnomes, or Svirfnblin. Reports from Farland's eastern borders indicate the nefarious necromancers and other sorcerers of evil have raised countless armies of undead warriors to wage war on any uprising from the people of Farland. Life, if you can call it that, is desolate and bleak. Despite the dire despair, the light of hope still glimmers faintly on the horizon. The 3 westernmost kingdoms have temporarily managed to throw off the yoke of the oppressors with the help of the monastic orders. These brave warriors continue to quietly bolster their ranks, and diligently hone their battle prowess. All of the militant orders task themselves with clandestine missions, and training the common folk for the perilous invasions to come. The bravest of these militant orders are the Sapphire Knights, who are a formidable and honorable order. This order is beholden to Heshtael, the leader of the gods of light. These mighty and magic-wielding warriors have pledged to continue to wage epic battle against the Lords of Darkness and their minions. They have taken on the fight and have vowed to fight to the last one of their ranks falls, for they know the fate of Farland depends on their skills and sacrifice. Though their numbers are few, their will is unstoppable. The Sapphire Knights meet their foes imbued with the powers of their deity, clad in plate mail that gleams even in total or unnatural darkness. Their opalescent blue cloaks billow behind them as the war horses charge, and are capable of casting rays of blinding light that pierce any devil unfortunate to be caught in their path. The legions following the Lords of Sin are also preparing for an invasion to stamp out the last remaining hope of the free people of Farland. The destiny of Farland falls to the brave warriors, fighting against overwhelming odds, and willing to give their life for freedom. Gather around the campfire, my friends. Let me tell you the adventure of the Sapphire Knights. The brave, yet untested knights, were assigned their first mission. They were ordered to aid a small camp at Lockbreck, deep within the occupied territory of Zealand. After scouting the enemy forces and teaching the villagers their unique style of guerrilla warfare, the heroes locate the local source of the undead that continuously terrorize the camp and deliver swift justice to the necromancer responsible. The group were even able to flush out a spy among the encampment's inhabitants, thus halting the flow of information to the hands of their enemies. The party traveled south to Sanctuary Valley in the Stonewall Mountains. They have been instructed to report to Sergeant Ellium for new marching orders. The knights happen across a caravan with a prison wagon. Inside sits a priestess of Bistra. With no concern to their own safety, they move in to attack the Slavers. Then time stops. In a wonderful show of divine power, the priestess is revealed to be Bistra, the goddess herself. She tested the knights' skills as warriors. Having passed the test, she knighted the young warriors. After this fantastic encounter with the goddess of light, they continue their trip to Sanctuary Valley.
So the last session, you got to meet Bestra, and you were anointed as knights we're going to make a slight little change to that, but you're anointed as knights, and you were given a magic weapon of some kind. If I remember right, Gardas and Drick got +1 bastard swords. Relic got a +1. No, it wasn't a +1.
It's in the notes.
He got his glaive where it's a blade on the other side, so it does an extra d6 damage. And Gabi got a crossbow that is bonded to him, so when he wants to, he can make it disappear and recall it when he wants to. And Cole got a bow that is the same way, it's bonded to her, and it never runs out of arrows. Also, Gabi's is the same way, it doesn't run out of arrows.
My lute. Oh, my kalimba. We might change that to a lute.
Go ahead, Chris, what do you got?
How do I change out my current bastard sword for a +1?
That's a good question. I just add a +1 to it.
I thought I had done
Thank
that
you.
already.
It doesn't look like it.
And actions, bonus +1.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, it's there. Thank you. It's in the settings. I thought it would actually say it on the item itself.
No, you can do that though. You can do that. Everybody give yourself your inspiration point for the day, +1 extra, so you get 2 today.
Yay! I got 6 now.
But the maximum you can have is 3, so you might as well use them. You ran into Bestra here near the Maravara River. If you remember right from the old map, when Maravara River was what you were walking down. When you left, you got some equipment, which was 6 war horses and 4 plates of mithril half plate.
Yeah, buddy.
Any other questions? So
Nope.
how do we want to do you, Alan? Do you want to go ahead and we'll act as if you were there? Is that what you want to do?
No, not really.
Okay. So you were...
I don't know.
Let me look at your weapon. The difference is I'm going to go ahead and give you your +1 weapon.
It'll be the longbow.
I figured once we get to the valley or whatever, we could have him go into a chapel or something, then he can come out shiny.
You're going to go to the chapter house. All of you are going to the district. You're going next to the chapter house. And you need to report in. Where the purple little circle is where you're at on the map. Okay, so we're starting off near the Maravar River. Not too far from the green line going around the stone plateau. You know that you're going to the Sanctuary Valley, which is where it says meeting spot. You have a chapter house there, and you're headed there. I need to get let's just double check my party sheet to make sure I have everybody in the right marching order here. I have Krellick, Claire, Gardas, Yeshua, Drick, Lyric, then Gabi.
Sounds good to me.
Hey, would Joshua be up front, being the ranger?
You want to be up front, Yeshua?
I said that's kind of what a ranger does, isn't it?
True. All right. Let's see if I can move these things around here. I think I can. Nope. So I will put Yeshua 1, and Krellick is 2, Claire is 3, Gardas as probably the rear guard. Wouldn't you be the rear guard? So Drick and Lyric in the middle. Gabi dead center, close to the middle. So probably Drick would be next, which would be 4. Then Lyric, which would be 5, and Gabi, which would be 6, and Gardas, which would be 7. You all see that on the party sheet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Looks good to you guys? Well, were you going to say that you were with everybody, Yeshua? So you would get you need to change your armor to that out of the party sheet and pull the other set of half plate.
I think Lyric's gonna get it.
Well, there's 2 of them right now.
Yeah, I think the other one's got what they wanted, and
I'll take one. I'm down for that.
I know
Is it out of
that
the...
Krellick and Gardas took one, but other than that, I don't believe anyone else did.
Does Gabi need it? If he needs it, I can...
Gabi frontline, but I think Drek needs it more than I would. I'm gonna be like a range person.
Okay, there's 2 mithril half plates in the party sheet. Go ahead and pull it off the party sheet into your inventory there. And Drick, you want to do the same? Since you're going all fighter now, so it might be useful.
Would it be better than what I currently have?
What you currently have.
Breastplate?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And so you have one more. I hate to say it, but it's probably you, Yeshua. The most oh no, Lyric, Drick, Krellick, and Gardas. Okay. So I need to give it to Lyric. Where are you at, Lyric? There you are.
Hey, Gardas, did you get? There's a javelin of lightning in the party sheet. I didn't know if you wanted that or if.
No, I don't really feel the javelin. I'll stick with
Okay.
a bow.
Well, anybody who. I'm just saying it's there if somebody wants it.
And
Okay.
correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the javelin a one-time use?
No, it's once per day.
Hey,
Oh, okay,
Day.
okay.
you can use
Yeah.
it as a regular javelin as often as you want, but it does that lightning thing once per day.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, right,
I'm
Mo?
good.
It's a pretty dangerous weapon. It seriously is a
Right.
dangerous weapon. Ask Jessie; she knows all about it. She knows all. She got the blunt end of that stick.
I think it's
Well,
Yeah,
if nobody,
she got up close and personal with that.
Drick, you can get it. Go ahead, buddy. It's the first
I was
item
gonna say,
on there.
if nobody
And
else wants it, I'll take it.
and just so you know, me and that javelin have issues.
Yeah, just don't throw it towards Jesse.
I'll have a shock moment. Won't be good.
There you go. And now it says Javelin of Lightning.
And that bag in there, that's a bag of holding, isn't it? Or is it just a bag? I can't
Can I
remember
have the
if we identified it or not.
What? button there? Never mind. I don't get it.
There it is.
It does say bag of holding.
It does now. So I don't know if Jesse or Nicole or somebody in the background wants to have the bag of holding.
Ooh, Cole should, because she can stash all the little, herbs and stuff.
There you go.
So
I like
you
that
could
idea.
forever heal us.
That's true. Gabi probably
We'll
does.
leave it.
Gabi would probably be the best to have the bag of holding because he's probably got he's the one that's going to be picking things up anyway.
Whenever you
That's
do the
better.
party parcel, I assume that random stuff gets picked up by Gabi. If none of us have claimed it, I assume Gabi has it. So bag of holding for him would be fine.
So what about that embroidered silk handkerchief? Anything special to it?
It has Vestra's seal on it, but that's about it.
Okay.
Can I have it?
Sure. It's
I'm
not
gonna wear
cheap.
it.
So
Just reach and get it.
I got it. It's mine now.
There you go.
okay. So you
All
guys head to the I need the person that's in the front of the party, which is going to be Yeshua and Krellick, to make a survival check.
Okay.
Both of us or just one?
How did I get there?
How did you get here? We're gonna play like you were here, like you were through the whole thing. When we get to the monastery, we'll take care of the other parts.
Oh, okay.
Ah!
What are you needing?
Survival.
Survival?
He's got a +3.
What's the survival?
Yeah.
You're trying to get to stay on course to the green line there.
Yeah, you said both of us roll, right?
Yep.
Okay.
That's a little better. That's a lot better.
Inspiration.
Yes, I will use my first inspiration point.
Okay.
Or do we need to?
No, that it depends on whether or not you think you need to.
I think he took care of it.
Okay. If you think that, then you think that.
Well, if we get lost, then we'll have fun.
Nothing but an adventure, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Bound to be something we can fight.
So we're starting, I think it's about, I'm going to go ahead and start this all clear here. So you're on your way from the Mavera River to the, pass through the Sanctuary Valley, going along Stone Plateau. You've checked survival and you've done really well. Krellick seems to keep, tripping over the wagon every once, or the horse seems to be tripping every once in a while. But Yeshua seems to keep you all on track. You get to the base of the trail, which starts at the top of the river there, near the Stone Plateau. And now you know for sure where you're at. You travel along this.
See, I told you, Krellick. I got this.
Shh.
Not
It's
to
the name
strike.
of my horse.
And you start heading towards this chapter house, in the meeting spot, we call it on the map, in the Sanctuary Valley. The chapter house is a official place where the Sapphire Knights gather. Most of the time they can be hidden, they can be in public, but they're always near a church of Heshtel. Sometimes they're inside the church of Heshtel. Sometimes they are in many different places, but within the larger cities, the chapter houses, there may be more than one of them, and usually there's a secret way to get from one to the other without being out on the streets. So when you get there, you figure out where you're going because you go to the only church in town. When you met here before, you swung by, but you didn't know the official way to get to the chapter house. So once you went to the church this time, one of the abbots shows you the direction through the back and to where the stables are, which is just around the corner. There's an old inn. The inn happens to be the chapter house. Just part of the inn is an inn and the other part is the chapter house. So there's stables and everything else. But you have your own, in this location you are safe. Or at least there are a lot of other people that will fight with you. Sergeant Ellium is there. With his big smiling face, he's such a pretty man.
My hero.
All right, so Sergeant Ellium calls you over to in front of him and he says, report.
We got the Long Branch and started doing some tracking. They were having overrun of undead. We tracked them to 2 towers. I'm not exactly sure where that was. Northeast of the camp, we found 2 towers. Upon searching them, we discovered that there was a necromancer that was raising the dead of the dead that were buried in these towers. These were burial towers, and sending them to attack the unoccupied lands.
As you say necromancer, he spits on the ground.
Well, we managed to kill the necromancer and its minions. We cleared the tower of a hobgoblin by the name of, give him the name, I can't think of it right now.
Drokag.
And in the process, we found some scripts, some secret letters, and a cipher. We just discovered how to cipher the letters. We took them back, and we learned that the leader of the camp's daughter was, against her will, having to be a spy for the Dark One, the Black. And
as you say that, he spits too on the ground.
Right, and we removed the collar from her successfully, and we sent it via a dog back into the occupied lands. And in the process of doing all that, we discovered that O'Rourke's family is in need of service.
We ran into...
and I started to...
We ran into a goddess and got knighted.
Out and walked away.
Ran into a goddess and got knighted, so that was kind of cool.
He steps back when you say knighted. He says, knighted?
Yes, sir.
Explain that to me.
We ran into Bestra. She was actually being held by some bad guys. We managed to kill them, and, well, technically we didn't kill them. We fought hard, and she stopped time, basically wiped everybody out for us, and we got them down pretty good. And then she knighted us and gave us all cool stuff.
Sergeant Ellium, he's spinning my good berries again. I don't remember none of that.
He looks at you for all of you really quick for a second. He steps back and he clicks his heels together and he salutes. He says, "Thank you for the report, sir."
I return his salute.
I salute too.
He says,
I salute as well.
I think you need to talk to the Knight Commander if you have been knighted. He says, leave your horses here, and because you all know that the paths to the sanctuary up to the monastery cannot be done on horseback. You know that you would get ready for the walk up to the monastery, which is quite a ways. But Sergeant Elliott says, no, you don't have to take the above pass. The cave passageway is now open. So you go into the chapter house. And he kind of gives you a little more history about how these chapter houses work as he's giving you a tour of it. Since their stables are here, all of the chapter houses have a stable. They have rooms for us to stay in, training grounds, weapons, anything you need is usually at a chapter house of some kind. As well as there is always a cleric here for healing and an abbot to heal other parts of you other than your body. And
what about a bar?
that is in the inn next door.
Yeah.
So he sends you go down, you get to the stable, you go all the way back to the very back of the stable, and he pulls some of the hay away, and underneath there in the floor is a trap door. You drop down into the trap door, and you can see a cave running, like a passageway, almost like an old miner's cave, running the direction of the mountain up. And it's already lit, and there are actually little train tracks, like for a miner's cart inside it. Off to your right, there's a little draft horse, a little mini draft horse, and a cart.
Can
Says
we
you guys
all
should
fit? Can we all fit in this tunnel?
Yes, without a problem.
Lyric squeals and goes, pony!
Pony, pony, pony! I want a pony! Basically, it's a pit horse. And they'll put several of these little rails together, and you guys help us load here, and they start loading supplies that are going to the monastery. Once you've done loaded that, they put you on they put you in your own little carts, and away you go. A 4-hour ride behind horseback from the Sanctuary Valley to the monastery. About halfway up, there is a split, and another cave goes in a different direction. But the one you're going on goes to the right toward the monastery. You can see that on the map with the green lines.
I asked, where does the other path go?
It goes to the other pass in the mountains. There's another pass on the other side. It's not so friendly to us from time to time. These
cool
caves were mining caves from the dwarves, but when the dwarves were beat down from the occupation, they never came back to reoccupy them. So we have them.
So we borrowed them.
Yeah. Along the way, Sergeant Ellium, you notice that he is always calling you all sir. He no longer calls you all of the loving names that he used to call you before, like, Whisperhead and, not for brains. He doesn't call you any of those things. He's very respectful, and he calls you sir. If you ask about it, he says, until we get to the monastery, I don't know which one of you are knighted knights, and which one of you are Templars. So just to be respectful, I will call you all sir.
Sounds good.
So you get to the monastery, and this place it's pretty good size. It's probably the size of the average high school, but it's built into a mountain. Very little bit is on the outside. So small sized town, in other words. There are training grounds. There's stables here where they're training horses. You could see now that you could get horses through this tunnel back down, but it wouldn't be easy to do. And there's no way to do it on the surface. So if they're training horses there, they're just for combat in other places. There's metalsmiths making armor. There's a full church and requiem. There's monks running around. There are nuns. You can smell really great food coming from the other side because the kitchen's running hard and heavy. You smell ale, and you hear the laughter of soldiers. Because wherever there's soldiers, there's going to be liquor. That's
Krellick's mouth starts to water, and a little bit of acid starts dripping.
Lyric jumps because it hits his shoulder. What the heck, man?
So as you walk into the rectory, am I saying that right? The church. Sergeant Ellium stops you and says, you guys need to leave your weapons here. And there's big barrels next to the doors. And you need to leave your weapons here. They're not allowed on holy ground.
I'll leave my weapon. All of
Leave
them.
my weapons.
I leave them.
Can I keep my shield? It's not technically a weapon.
Yeah, you can put it over your back. Yeah.
But
I'll
what
keep it
about
sealed.
these hands? Weapon.
And, Jason, do you take off your gloves?
Yes, he does. He's respectful in the church.
As you see Krellick start dropping his weapons, tears start to brim up around his eyes because he's letting go of his babies.
But Gabi does just make his crossbow go invisible. Click, it's just gone.
It's gone. You could leave it
Wait.
there and just summon it back to your hand at any time. So.
Oh, I left it there, but I left it there invisible.
I respectfully place my blade to the side, and my longbow, and my quiver.
So you get inside and you see Knights Commander Devant, and Sergeant Ellium kind of walks ahead of you guys, and he whispers in his ear what happened, that you guys had seen Vestra, that you believe, that you say that you saw Vestra. He's probably not really believing it, but, you know, because in all of his time serving, he's never seen her, you know. So he says, come forward and let me have a look at you all. And you arrange yourselves out in front of him. And he walks down each one of you and he looks. And on his chest is a medallion. And it has the symbol of Heshtel on it. And as he gets close to you, he looks you down. But as he steps a little closer, that amulet pulls out. Like pulls away from his chest. Acting like a dowsing rod, but it's an amulet on a chain. And so when he walks by every one of you, when he gets to Claire, it sticks straight out. It's humming. It's sticking out. He has to back up a minute.
Beep.
He says, yes. He looks at everybody. He says, he gets to, we're saying you saw Vestra, but we'll redo that in the others. Okay. So when he gets to Yeshua, the same thing happens. It's easier to do if we do it this way. He said, but you all have been touched by the divine, but we need to see what your calling is. And I don't know what that is. He looks down at Claire. He says, I can guess what hers is. He pulls you a little further apart, and he has in his hand a sword. It's a dull ceremonial sword, but it's a sword. And on his other hand, he has a book. He has his amulet around his neck. He goes to Gardas, and when he gets close to Gardas, he has the sword and he has the book, and the book opens. He steps back and the book closes. He says, repeat after me. You don't have to repeat after me. I'm just going to drop it in chat and then I'll read it. When he says this, you repeat it, but you don't have to do that. I'm a Sapphire Knight today, and I vow to Heshtel, to serve Heshtel and bring glory to his name and his cause, to always fight evil in all its forms, to protect the weak and the defenseless, to live modestly and to practice charity, to live by honor and glory, to serve Heshtel and the orders of my commanders, to speak the truth, to guard the honor of the order and my fellow knights, and never refuse a challenge from an equal. He takes the sword and he touches you on the left and on the right and the top. He says, you are a knight of Heshtel, our paladin. And then he explains what it means to be a knight of Heshtel. Because there are 3 different branches inside the Sapphire Knights, and a knight is one of them. A knight's vow is made to the god and may never be broken. It is absolute. A knight must follow their vows without hesitations or regards to the consequences. To break the vows will call Heshtel to forsake the powers he has granted you as a knight. You must listen and heed the guidance of the Templar ranks, but always follow the will of Heshtel. There are certain things that a knight may never do. Templars do not have so many restrictions to their conduct. Example, a knight's vow is made to a god and is never broken and is absolute.
So I'm a knight, not a Templar.
Yes, you are a knight. So you have the title of Sir.
I will wear it with distinction.
Okay. He goes up to the next person in the line, goes to Krellick, and he does the same thing. He holds out the book and he holds out the sword, and the book opens, and then the book closes. He says the exact same things to you, and you follow with the oath. I'm a Sapphire Knight. Today I vow to Heshtel. You grasp now that you're not putting your vow to the order. You're vowing to Heshtel himself. I serve Heshtel and bring glory to his name and his cause, etc., etc. And you understand that these are absolutes. They're not forgiving. He goes to Drick. Drick, he puts the sword and he puts the book and he stands in front of you. And the book opens and the book closes. He steps back He taps you on one shoulder, and he taps you on the other shoulder. He taps you on your head, and he gives you exactly the same vow. Today I'm a Sapphire Knight. Today I vow to Heshtel. You're given the title of Sir. So it is Sir Gardis, Sir Krellick, and Sir Drick. He walks to Claire, and he leans forward with Claire, and he has the book in one hand and the sword in the other. And this time his amulet jumps forward, and it just sticks straight out. And it's just hovering, and it's shaking like it's wanting to pull it off his neck. Steps back.
We are taking a 1-minute intermission. Tabletop Gamer Online would like to thank you for all watching. We are very blessed and thankful you are here. Please take a moment to like and subscribe. This helps our channel rank higher on YouTube. We would like to thank farlandworld.com for the rich and wonderful world we are role-playing in. You can contact us via our social media accounts, Facebook groups, facebook.com/groups/tabletopgamergroup. Our website, tabletopgamer.online. Email, fortsmithtabletop@gmail.com. Twitter, @TGO_Mo, or #tabletopgameronline. And now back to our show.
And he says these vows. I am a cleric of the gods of light, and a tool in the hand of Heshtel. Today my God has commanded me to serve God, the gods of light, and to bring glory to their cause. To always fight for the darkness from evil in all forms. To protect the weak, the defenseless, to heal the wounded, and to feed the hungry. I seek no honors and glory for myself. To be the light in the darkness, to bring divine retribution to evil in every form. To never refuse a challenge from an equal. To destroy by divine light any corruption I find within the order I serve.
I like it.
Okay. And then he explains a little bit more about why your vows are different. Because a cleric of life, you must fulfill the commandments of the gods of light. You heed the teachings and the will of Heshtel. You are a vessel for power of gods of light, and you have no tolerance for corruptions of life. And understand, death is a part of this cycle, therefore you do not fear it. And you now have the title of, you are a battle cleric. That is your title, battle cleric. Most people will call you brother or sister in your case. So okay. Sister, and you sometimes they may use your surname if there's several of you, like Sister Claire. Not really your surname, but your name. But most of the time, people will just call you sister.
Okay.
Okay. The next one he walks over to is Yeshua. And he stands in front of Yeshua, sword in one hand, book in the other, and his amulet. But this time, the book doesn't open. The sword glows. And it's like not a nice glow, like it's angry glow. Kind of like the book opened and then closed was an angry open and close. The sword is like it's choosing not to be you, not rather than the opposite. He says, we have Templars among us. Good. I was worried. And you can hear Sergeant Ellium just take a big sigh of relief going, oh God, I don't call him all sir, you know. And he says, you repeat after him as he speaks. He says the Templar's oath to serve the order and the techniques and the teachings of Heshtel. I will always fight against evil and injustice for goodness and light, to defend the weak, the defenseless from all. I live modestly and I practice charity. I bring honor and glory to my order. I serve Heshtel and my order in valor and faith. I guard the honor of the Sapphire Knights to fight injustice whenever I find it. And then he says, Templars are unique. Every group of Sapphire Knights is balanced. You have Knights, you have Templars, and you have Clerics. Everyone has its purpose, and everyone checks the others. Basically, Templars are NCOs, but they're high-level NCOs, and Knights are young officers. As a Templar, you must fulfill your oaths to the order in accordance with the teachings of Heshtel. If you feel Heshtel inside of you, you trust that these are just feelings, because the feelings have many different interpretations. You always follow the word of Heshtel and his teachings. So he hands you a book the book that didn't open, and he hands it to you. These are the words written by Heshtel. These are the rules that we follow to the letter. You are to guide by the letter, not the intent. The knights go by the intent. The Templars do to the letter. The clerics ruled out all. Then he says here, there are certain things that a knight may never do. Templars do not have many restrictions to their conduct. Example, knight's vows are made to a god and may never be broken and are absolute. An oath, which is what you just took, Yeshua, an oath is made to the order. If an oath is ever broken, it will be judged by the order in accordance to the writings. And he points to the book that's in your hand, according to the writings and teachings of Heshtel. Do you understand the difference?
Do.
Okay. He stands back and says, arise, and he gives you the title of, no, sorry, I got this wrong. The knights are called lords, not sir. The Templars are called sir. I got it backwards. Sorry. Forgive me. Arise, Sir Yeshua. You have the rank of, currently have the rank of corporal of a Templar. Okay. So now you understand there's 3 different groups. Each group has its own purpose. He goes to the next one. He goes to Lyric. He leans down in front of Lyric a little bit, and with the sword and the book, and the sword glows. He steps back. He takes and hands you the book. Takes a sword to one shoulder, to the other shoulder, to your head. And he says, a Templar's oath, to serve the order and all the teaching of Heshtel, to always fight against evil and injustice and the goodness of the light, to defend the weak and the defenseless from all, to live modestly and practice charity, to bring honor and glory to my order, to serve Heshtel and my order in valor and in faith, to guard the honor of the Sapphire Knights, to fight injustice whenever and wherever I find it. And he says pretty much the same thing about the rules that you have are different than the rules of the knights. I know there's a lot of text here, but if you're paying attention, knights cannot tell a lie. They have to tell the truth. Templars are not susceptible to that. That oath is not in there.
Which is actually kind of funny because I'm a horrible liar. Ask anybody who knows me. I cannot lie to save my life.
He goes to Gabi and leans forward with a sword in one hand and the book in the other. And the sword glows. He taps you on one shoulder, he taps you on the other, and he taps you on your head, and he hands you the book. And he says the same words, a Templar's oath. So always serve the order and the teachings of Heshtel. You know the book is the teachings. It's his actual word. To always fight against evil and injustice and goodness and light, to defend the weak, defenseless from all, to live modestly and practice charity, to bring honor and glory to my order, to serve Heshtel and my order in valor and faith, to guard the honor of the Sapphire Knights, to fight injustice whenever and wherever I may find it. And when he steps back, he says, the knights will always follow their heart and what they believe that they're being called to do. The Templars are to rein them in, never let the feeling inside them go further than the word will allow. The cleric has some unique things. And he says, let me talk about this separately. And you're now Sir Gabi. And
hey, Gabi looks up and goes, real quick question. How modestly do I have to live?
He smiles and says, we provide everything you need.
Lyric walks over and leans on Gabi, like, I'm so glad you asked that.
And he says, there are times when you will not get along. There are times when there may be conflict. And someone may question whether or not the feeling is where we should go or the word is where we should go. There needs to be a way to correct. The Templars are not all powerful. The Knights are not all powerful. And the Church is not all powerful. We work as a try and we balance. This is the way of things. He says, challenge to divine combat. When you'll notice that everybody had the, I will not refuse a challenge of an equal. A challenge to divine combat. 2 Templars or Knights that are in agreement may challenge a single Knight or a single Templar to divine combat. A single cleric of the light may challenge any Knight or any Templar or any cleric to divine combat. The cleric of light may ask for divine intervention to remove corruption from a person, Knight or Templar, or from the temple. Understand that divine are often not merciful when they render judgment or intervention. Divine combat means that you may only use the powers given to you by Heshtel during combat. No armor, no weapons, only divine magic. These challenges are swift, brutal, but effective. Corruption within the order will not be tolerated.
Does that mean that a cleric can use all her powers no matter what, and we only get the ones that we just received?
It's a little different than that. Is a cleric can use any of her magic that's given by divine light, but the cleric's purpose is to call for divine intervention. And when they do, Dumont says, the last time that we know it happened, the great earthquake that separated the last continent happened. So they use their power sparingly.
Gobby, you need to be careful.
Claire likes me.
Gobby is Sir, but is he also a corporal?
Yes. Corporal just shows his level within it. Yeah. He's a Sir. James is a Lord. Michael is a Lord. And Trick is a Lord. And
So the way you're describing it, especially when it pertains to combat, is basically the knights are the attack dogs let off the leash by the Templars.
yes, pretty much.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. They're also the boss in most cases. They tell you where you're going to go because they have the
I got no problem with that.
They have that divine feeling within them. The job as a Templar is to pull you back and say, yeah, we can do this a little stealthy here.
Hey Mo, what's my title?
Your title is Sir.
I've always wanted to be a sir.
Yeah, it's regardless of gender, it's a Sir. The only one that has a gender in it is the sister or brother, and then you could choose either one of those if you wanted to. So the Templars take oaths to the order and are held accountable by the order. The Knights take vows to their god and are responsible and are responsible to that. Clerics are responsible to not Heshtel, but the gods of light, all of the gods of light. That's why there's a balance. So you won't have Knights taking over because the Templars will make them feel their pain. You won't have Templars taking over because the Knights will make them feel their pain. And if both of you get corrupt, the cleric will end you and the continent you stand on. With this, I don't know if you noticed, but it is when it comes to challenge in divine combat, it is always 2 against 1. 2 that are challenging the one that they believe is corrupted, with the exception of the cleric. The cleric gets 1-on-1. The clerics are responsible to the gods of light, all of them, not just Heshtel, because when she calls for divine intervention, one of the gods of light inhabit her and seek its retribution. Go ahead.
I was going to say, example, let's say that Devant was corrupt and I challenged him because of what he was doing. So somebody else would help me or help him?
2 of you would have to agree to challenge him. Okay. 2 of your same kind. 2 knights would have to challenge him.
Is it 2 or more or just 2?
At least 2.
Okay.
So the whole party can agree.
Correct. The thing about the clerics are, since they are inhabited by a divine being, and it's any one of the gods of light, they can, if Heshtel himself was to become corrupted, she could challenge Heshtel, and all of the gods of light would come. The others, she doesn't have a choice of which god comes. So if she calls for divine intervention and the god of trickery shows up, things are going to get bad.
She's now so in a sense, she is the mortal form of that deity on the planet.
Until retribution has been had, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Gobby, I would think that we're going to be having a party tonight. They're going to see that we're new Knights and Templars, and there's going to be a party.
As Gobby steps around this place, looks around, one of the Sargent Ellium points you to the stables. And he points you to the stables. You walk over there, and what you notice in the stables are dogs. These aren't wargs. They are white dire wolves that can be used as a mount.
Nice. Hey, okay, just for general knowledge, we're Sapphire Knights. Are there any other Knight orders?
Yes.
And what are they?
The Ruby Knights, Sapphire Knights, Emerald Knights.
And what's the differences?
What god they worship.
Are they all in this house?
No. This is only Sapphire. You don't trust the other orders any more than you try, not saying you don't trust them. They're like, the opposing football team. Yeah, you respect them as football players, but they're not your friends.
What gods do they have?
I'll have to get back to you on that. But Bestra and Heshtel are together. Bestra runs the healing. A lot of times Heshtel and Bestra will be seen together, and their churches are often shared, etc., because of their divine married. So you now have a white direwolf as a mount. I was thinking of a warg too. The only problem is wargs aren't a naturally evil creature.
I wander over to the armory.
Okay. Anything you want. Anything you want.
I want a suit of plate mail.
Okay. He says, but we don't have mithril plate.
That's fine. I'm going to give you this mithril so that you can share it.
You're not going to give us away the armor we just got for the group.
You're going to get rid of your stealth?
No.
I was going to have him take this mithril and put it on the plate mail so that I get the same advantage.
That'll take months.
Not months. It will take a while, and they can send it to wherever we're at when they're done.
The armor looks at you kind of funny. He says, I don't do work with mithril here, but what I can do is add the pieces of the half plate that's missing in regular steel and Drugar steel, because they have Drugar steel. This is a Drugar. That's what these tunnels were originally, not just dwarves, but Drugar dwarves. He says, we can put it in Drugar steel. It's not quite the same as mithril, but you could have plate mail.
And still have the advantage as mithril. Still have the stealth. Is that what you're telling me?
No.
It would be a plus to stealth, but it would still be a disadvantage. I can't even say with disadvantage because the mithril is going to do that. It would give you the option of not wearing. The difference between half plate and plate is the chain underneath. And plate has more plates on it. The back of it's got a plate rather than the front. He says, but I can put you steel there, and he says, I might be able to make it work. We'll see what we can do. But I know I can get the pieces to give you the same protection as plate. I just don't know how quiet it'll be.
If you don't pass the Gabi test, it ain't gonna work.
I just know that I need extra protection
Yeah.
because I'm up front and I don't carry a shield. So I got to get all the protection I can get.
You have more protection than I have already.
Yeah, but you're not getting up there. You're going to sneak around. You're just like a mouse in a trap. You just sneak around until you get caught.
He says, where are you going next?
We are going up towards Dragon Spur. What was the name of that?
Kenby.
He says, what I can do is I could have some mithril plate available for you in Dragonspur, because we do have a mithril armorer there.
Okay, and then I'll just meet up with him when I get there.
And he would have the pieces that you need to add to make your half plate.
Thank you, sir.
And like I said, it's free. So the monastery doesn't have, the mithril is a unique forging process, and you need to have it at a major city. Okay. Dragonspur City is a major city. Does anyone else want their half plate turned into mithril plate?
I'm sure Gardis does. He would like to have some plate mail and still get the stealth on it.
I've got mithril half plate.
We're talking mithril full plate.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Gabi would take that.
You don't get till we get to Dragonspur, but he's putting the order in for us.
Oh, okay.
Gabi recommends it for the whole team if they can wear plate.
He says when the common material or the common armor that we use for our knights, he says in the past this new stuff that we're using it's mithril plate mail, but it can be broken apart where you can wear just the breastplate if you need to go in incognito.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Because the breastplate will fit under a shirt.
It's
like that breakaway
Will
armor.
we be able to put it back together, though?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But, donning armor is a pain. So when you're traveling, you don't really want to wear armor because you don't want to have to, like trying to get on a horse with armor takes a crane. You don't just jump off your horse, take a leak, and then jump back on your horse. That doesn't happen in plate mail.
All the extra breastplates and chain shirts and chain mail.
That's the next thing he's going to ask you. He says, do you have any metal for us?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we give it all up.
Okay.
Anything we're not using.
Yeah, because all it is taking a place.
Do we need to keep, like I was saying the other day, do we need to keep one horse as like a pack horse?
To hold your bag of holding?
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. It might be in my inventory, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, we knew you got it.
No, I don't think we need an extra pack horse. I think
Okay.
what we've got is good.
So we just need to sell all this other stuff.
So I'm going to take all the armor out. That's all I'm going to take out.
Do you want to take the light crossbows and such too that we don't need anymore?
Sure.
The weaponry?
Yep.
Unless anyone needs any of this weaponry. How much money are we giving to the chapter house?
All of it.
No, we need spending money.
We
Yeah,
do
we-
need some.
I say half.
Paul says
I
we
don't have any.
The group has some after getting all that stuff.
I show the group has 993 gold pieces.
Well, we should have more because
Relic, how do you have 946?
I don't know.
Let me check.
Acrylic does not have that.
If he does, he didn't have it for long. If Gabi was around.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chart now. We've got 994 in gold, 1 platinum, 23 electrum, 965 silver, and 1802 in copper.
I just dropped your gold pieces to 12 there, Krellick, by the way.
That's fine.
Because that's about what you would start with, so.
Yeah, Krellick doesn't need. He doesn't really use a lot of cash.
I need to refresh it. And there it is.
Acrylic took a vow of poverty.
Absolutely. I'm not like Gabi.
Well, when they provide you anything you need, it's kind of, and your salary now, the knight's salary is 50 gold pieces, which you'll get before you leave. And the Templars is 25 gold pieces.
How come
Okay.
the Knights get more? You'd think the Templars would get more because they're
the Templars don't need money.
being superior, being over the Knights. You'd think they would get paid more.
The
We're
knights,
not
are,
over the knights.
the knights are over the Templars.
Oh,
Y'all
The only-
outrank them, but we have the brains.
Right.
The only thing I would say is I would leave so much money in the kitty as a group for expenditures like having to get a little guard, a little extra cash or anything like that. Beyond that, that's the only thing I was saying.
And I say you hold it in your little bag.
So knights can add 50 gold pieces to their gold pieces. Templars can add 25. And I'm going to put it down that you, for the party, I'm going to say you kept 150 gold pieces.
Okay.
That sounds good.
And I'm drop all the rest of them to 0.
What does clerics get?
The same as the Templars, 25. Actually, I'll take that back. I'll make the clerics 50 because more than likely you're going to give it away.
all right. I'm sitting on 56 gold.
Do the war horses have armor?
They do not have barding, no.
Does he have some in the armor?
Yes, he has steel barding for war horses.
Do they have anything for the dire?
Yes, they will. It will be chain barding, not plate.
Oh, I was just looking for leather.
All right. So yes, you can get barding for your horse. I just need to put your dire in there too in your party tracker.
Do we have like a separate sheet or something for a horse?
You mean it as in a character sheet?
Yeah.
Nope.
And how do you know their hit points and stuff?
Because they use a standard stat block. War horse, the speed of 60. Armor class is normally 11. Hit points are 19. So when you add your chain to it, it's just like adding it to a person. You get the same amount. I need to make the stat block for your Jason, but in the meantime, you can use a Mastiff as your stat block. The only difference is that your dire will have more hit points, and it has the attacks that a dire wolf would have, which is pounce. They get pack tactics, and they have bite. So no, they don't have pounce. They're a little slower than the war horses, but they have, I believe, more hit points. They have quite a bit more hit points. They also get a +4 to stealth. Now, putting barding on your horse will make your stealth problems happen again.
Oh, so I asked him about the mithril barding.
That's beyond the budget of us. He does explain to you. He says it's normally barding is 4 times the cost of plate mail or of normal armor. So mithril plate is 1,500 gold or regular plate is 1,500 gold pieces. Add a 0 for mithril, and then times that times 4.
Okay, we never actually got the mission to go to whatchamacallit. So we still need to talk to
Sergeant Ellium. And Sergeant Ellium comes over and he talks to you, but you definitely notice that he uses Lord when it comes to talking to Gardis and Krellick and Drick. And he does not say sir to Gabi, to Yeshua, and to Lyric, because you're the same. But he does say sister to Cole. So when you mention that you guys fought, you can hear the chuckle in him, like he's trying to hold back his laugh, because you can automatically assume that he knows how that turned out.
Well, it wasn't so much that we fought as we got our asses handed to us.
Put it this way, Sergeant Elliam, the drinking round was longer.
Yes, it was.
He kind of, he's joking around a little bit, and you haven't ever seen him joke before, so your placement within the ranks is it's changed. And he's joking around a little bit. He says, he's the one that teaches here at the monastery, or used to teach here in the monastery, hand-to-hand combat. And my first time in the ring with him, I remember stepping in.
You remember going in, you don't remember going out.
Gabby says, I took him.
He shakes his head. No.
It's a good thing, Gabi, that you're not sworn to tell the truth.
So when you tell him about his daughter, that O'Rourke's daughter is godchild is missing in Kemby, he said, yes, I think we should send you to investigate. There is other issues in Kemby we need to be aware of, that you need to be aware of before going. We haven't had any communications from our church in Kemby. For some reason, we're not getting any information back that way, which is one of the more important ones for pulling information out of Dragonspur City and getting it here.
Now, is Kemby in the occupied lands or the unoccupied lands?
It's on the border. It's actually on the border road.
I tell Sergeant Ellium, I said, now we also got reports that there's lots of goblins and hobgoblins coming in, and there's no work for people, but there's work for them.
He shakes his head. Well, and he automatically does that, looking around because he's about to tell an off-color joke, but he looks at Gabi and says, well, goblins will work for almost nothing. So I can kind of understand that. So when he says there's a lot, that's one of the concerns we have in Dragonspur City, is we rely on Kemby's church to pass the information on the caravan coming up through Jacob's Rock. And we're not getting any news. The caravan's still coming the way it should, but we're not getting any information for some reason. So there's something wrong with the church in Kemby. So, I'm going to put this, I think you guys I have some people sharing it, some people not, so I'll pull it back up. And you guys Kemby is right here, near the Lake of the Moon. And like you said, normally the notes are coming out, the messages are coming out of Dragonspur City, and they head to Kemby, and then down that trail at Kemby to Jacob's Rock and on its way up to the monastery, so they can make plans.
I take out the map we found with the ciphers and show it to Ellium and ask him if he knows anything about this and what it may be for.
Good one. So he looks at the map, and then he's now in a hurry. He rushes back to Lord Demont and shows him the map. And he looks over, he sees all of the lines coming in, the arrows coming in from the east, and he notices there's a big fork going towards Kemby. And even a lot more going around Dragonspur City, but not in Dragonspur City. There's only a little bit going into the city itself. It's all the surrounding areas. And he says, another piece of the puzzle. He says, well, let me explain what we're worried about. You all know the history of the area, that the entire world was occupied, but the 3 countries to the west managed to fight their way into freedom. But that freedom is on shaky ground. The only reason we won, was I believe that the supply lines were too far from Wintervale. They couldn't maintain it. We killed most of the necromancers so they couldn't raise the dead against us, against the free states, and so they prevailed. But it's only a matter of time where more necromancers come, or they move more people, more and he looks and he tries to look apologetic. Goblins or orcs into the area to try for another attack. So it's one of the things you send to Kenby to find out what's going on, but we need an update on the information that should have been coming out of Dragonspur that we've been missing for the last 3 weeks.
So the population of orcs and goblins has been increasing, so that sounds like imminent attack again.
Could be, but we have to look at everybody has a right to live in this area. I mean, we don't turn away goblins and orcs just because they're goblins and orcs. He looks at both of you, so you understand.
Yes.
So we need to know, but we have people out there investigating and are gathering intelligence in Dragonspur City, and we're not getting that information here.
And do we have contacts?
At the chapter house in Dragonspur City, there are 3 chapter houses.
No.
Then while we check up on this guy's family, we should be checking up in Dragonspur City at the chapter house there.
Well, the information comes out of Dragonspur City, and it comes out of there and goes straight to Kenby. Kenby processes it all.
So that's where we need to start at then.
Right. Okay. So other than the chapter house, are there anybody that are possible undercover contacts?
The chapter house will have a list of those.
What's the priest name in Kenby that we should be talking to?
So you think we ought to leave first thing in the morning, everybody?
What time of the day is it now? If it's early, we can head out now.
He says we have a provost agent in Kenby. They're at the Wanderer's Smile in Kenby. The owner of the Wanderer's Smile is an elf named Helen.
So would I know this elf by any chance because of my background?
Not necessary, no. But it's not the owner; it's the owner's younger son. So it would be.
Drick is from this area, right, Drick?
Yeah. From Dragonspur City, yeah.
Yeah, so just north. So Drick, Drick ever been to
Kenby? Probably knows where it's at, but it was probably like passing through, going from one place to another.
I want to ask about Fisherman Solace.
What do you want to know?
Well, I mean, it's on the way. What's the travel like from here to Kenby? Is it a place that we need to go by, or is it a place we need to avoid?
We have a chapter house at Fisherman Solace. We also have a chapter house at Jacob's Rock.
Okay.
If you're going to go out that pass to get out, then you'll follow through the tunnels and to the top of the river, where the river comes out of the mouth of the mountain, and then usually take boats, or if you're going to be travel light. If not, you'll go horseback and follow the river down to Lake of the Sun, and then follow the river from Lake of the Sun to Fisherman Solace. Fisherman Solace is a fishing village, and it has a big boat, and we do a lot of transport there. It's also where we get a lot of salted fish. But when we need to do some moving of large items, Fisherman Solace is usually the way we take them, because we can put them on a boat.
And we should look for Nathy's godchild, nephew, something.
Yes, yeah. And if you can do a favor for a provost. He was a provost, right? Or Brooks was a provost. If you can do some work, if you can do some help for a provost, you should do it. We owe a lot to them.
What time of day is it?
I'm going to say it's probably midday.
How long would it take us to get down the tunnels?
And get out? Probably, if you're going out that way, it's probably going to take you 2.5 hours. Well, you got 3 hours from the monastery back to the meeting spot. And from the meeting spot, you're going to go through the tunnels going that direction. It'll probably be another 2 hours. So you're looking at 5 hours.
So it'll be dark.
And the tunnel ends at where the river comes out of the mountain. It's actually a mouth, like a cave. The river comes out through a cave.
At the meeting spot, is there like a place to sleep, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, there's a chapter house there. You were just there.
Yeah. So yeah, why don't we go to the meeting house, and then we'll leave in the morning from there.
Sounds like a plan.
Gets us a couple hours moving, but it's not dark. We're not rushing. Okay.
You guys, anything else you need here? Any equipment at all?
We could use some more healing potions.
Yeah, we need some of that black bane seed stuff from the lady and healing potions and that stuff as well.
Right.
I've got a feeling we're going to run across some of these necklaces again.
He can give you.
We have black bane seed.
They can give you more of the Bestra's weed salve. They can probably give you another 4. But they don't give up much healing here. It's just the way it is. They'll heal you because they have clerics here. But
what about do they have any items of protection like rings or amulets or anything like that?
No magic items.
So you'll put 4 Vestras in the
Yeah, I'll make
party.
it 8. I'll make it 8.
All right, so head to the tunnels
Okay.
so we can get to the chapter house.
On the very last cart of the train, there is a dire wolf, and they wouldn't put it next to the horse pulling the cart for some reason. Don't know why, but
What's she gonna name him, Gobby?
Am I gonna name her?
and one of the things that the Sergeant Ellium says, anytime you go to one of the chapter houses, if they know you're on their way, there'll be another dire wolf there. There'll be more horses waiting for you. Don't get too attached to them because you'll have to leave them from time to time and pick up new ones in another spot.
Okay.
He's like, nope, that ain't gonna happen. This is mine. That's fine. Most of the time, you probably get with the dog. You probably get away with it, but like if you have to travel via boat, it's really hard to do that on a horse. So, like you guys could come out of the meeting spot and go down the trail to the top of the Lake of the Sun and get on canoes and make pretty good time to Fisherman's Solace, and then in Fisherman's Solace at the chapter house pick up new war horses.
Does the concoctions work on the horses as well?
Yep, sure do.
Let's get our rest and get started out the first thing in the morning.
Okay. So you start and you get all the way down to the chapter house. And when you get down there, you'll find that there's mail for you if you had any mail that you were expecting, which you weren't.
Guy ask you if he has any silk and rope.
And at the chapter house, yeah, they would have it.
Yeah. All right, I replaced my hemp rope with a silk rope.
Okay.
I suggest the rest of you do that. You lose a lot of weight.
Okay, I'll do that.
And as Gobby goes to buy the supply closet there, he notices a bag of cothrops, picks them up and stuffs them in his pocket. You have a good meal, you have a good drink. The Knights of the Order are pretty, they don't have a problem with drinking, except don't do it in the church. Or at least don't do it in the church while church is in session. You can do it in the church when church is not in session.
So are we headed out yet? Or what are we doing?
So you get to moving, and you come out at the top of the river coming from the Lake of the Sun. When you get there, you have your horses with you. No, you don't have horses with you. You're on the train. So you are on foot, except for Gobby, or are you taking the canoes? There are boats there up underneath the cave.
Whoa. Couldn't we have sent our horses up ahead of time?
You took you want to go back up then. If you go from the meeting spot to the cave at the Lake of the Sun, it's on one of those little trains. It's in a tunnel. You can ride a horse between the meeting spot and the Lake of the Sun above ground. You want to do that instead?
Do we want to go by horse or do we want to go by foot?
Which would be shorter?
Actually, probably the same, because when you get to the Lake of the Sun, you can go by boat.
But once we get to the Lake of the Sun, we can only get to Fisherman's Solace.
Right, but once you get to Fisherman's Solace, there's a chapter house.
We can get horses and the dog there.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Let's do that.
Yeah, that works.
Okay. So because it's faster to go by the little train than it is to go by land. That's still a pretty big mountain pass to go from the meeting spot over the top to the Lake of the Sun. You can there's also a tunnel there, which is not, it's just flat ground, and you can ride. So you got to the mouth of the cave of the Lake of the Sun. You got some of the canoes that are there. They're stashed up inside the cave. And you start canoeing and paddling up the Lake of the Sun. It's all downhill because the spring is inside the cave where you guys were at.
Right.
I need let's do survival. Let's do across the board. We'll do an average.
11.
Survival rolls
4.
from Drick is 4, Gobby is a 3, Lyric is a 10.
19 for me.
11
Relic.
for me.
Did
I'd
I
like
not
to use
roll?
some inspiration to re-roll it.
Yeah, Gobby's gonna use an inspiration too.
Okay.
There we go. I'm gonna use inspiration.
Inspiration points be flying.
That's better.
Got a 19 that time. Much better.
Okay, so you did good. You get to Lake of the Sun, and you're getting out on the other side of the river. But what you notice ahead of you on the river it's like the straight part of the river. And what you notice ahead of you is one of the canoes like you're sitting in, the same identical kind that you're sitting in, is got arrows in it. And it's up on a bank and it's broke. You instantly start backpedaling, because the river's not that fast, but you're backpedaling a little bit. And that backpedaling is allowing you to have a better look at this canoe. And you realize that canoe was ambushed and set with arrows. And it's ahead of you about a quarter of a mile.
What side is it on?
It's on the...
So we need to keep our eyes peeled.
It's on the north side of the river.
Are the arrows on both sides of it or just one?
The canoe is on one side of the river and it's full of arrows.
Oh, so are the arrows look like they're coming from just one side or from both sides?
From both sides.
Okay.
Gabi says, I believe we should check if there are any survivors from the canoe.
Well, first, we got to make sure we get rid of the threat first.
Yeah, we need to keep eyes peeled.
I'll ready my bow and arrow.
Aren't you guys stay in the boat?
No. I point to the left bank and I say we need to make our way over there.
That's the same bank as the canoe that's shot up?
No,
correct?
The canoe would be on the right. It'd be on the north side.
Gabi's going to disagree and say, I want to go right to check for survivors.
So we go to the right. I'm worried about taking out the threat before checking for survivors. I don't want to be a suspicion.
Or not being caught in a trap.
Yeah.
Well, either one of those scenarios, we shouldn't be in the boat to do that.
Exactly. So we move to the right side of the river, which would, I guess, would be the north side.
Yep, north side.
Yeah, and find a bush or find some kind of cover, hopefully.
Okay.
And then send Gabi up ahead to scout it out.
Okay, I'm going to hop on the wolf.
Okay.
And kind of just see if he can smell anything or if he's tense first, and then kind of stealth up if he feels like if the wolf seems on edge, then that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I'm rolling stealth.
The stealth would be the stealth would be for your dog because you're mounted. So it's actually just a +4 instead of a +8. So that would be a total of 8.
Let's do that one more time.
Okay.
Okay. A modifier is
-4.
and I'll roll stealth that way and see how that looks. And I will take that.
Okay. Gabi's the only one on this map. As you go around, the Dyer's wolf's ears trip, and then you see him shake his head as if something's nasty up ahead. And for a wolf thinking something's nasty, it's nasty. What you notice is 4 gnolls.
As soon as I notice what they are, I'm going to try to back away and let the other people know what's going on quietly.
The party is back further about another 6 squares off the map on the river, just so you get a grip where you're at. You can back the boats are down from here, so south. I changed it around so it works better for the map. I'll turn the map on real quick so you guys can see it in full color. I'll turn it off and on, but that's about the area you're looking at. So I'm going to end this, and we will start this next game tomorrow, next Thursday, right at this encounter.
Sweet.
All right.
Good game, everybody.
Yeah.
A lot of good role play. I like you guys. Did well.
Tabletop Gamer Online would like to thank you for all watching. Please take a moment to like and subscribe. This helps our channel rank higher on YouTube. We would like to thank FarlandWorld.com for the rich and wonderful world we are role-playing in. You can contact us via our social media accounts, Facebook groups, facebook.com/groups/tabletopgamergroup. Our website, tabletopgamer.online. Email, fortsmithtabletop@gmail.com. Twitter, @TGO_Mo, or #TabletopGamerOnline. The actors for this week's session are Michael as Gardus, Nicole as Claire, Jess as Lyric, Jason as Gobby, James as Krellick, Chris as Drake, and Mo as the Dungeon Master. This is the end of this week's show. Have a wonderful day.